expand this binomial. Here we have this binomial quantity 2x minus 3y to the power of 5. Now let's take a look at what this expansion means. If we had this expression quantity 2x minus 3y squared, what we would have to do is we would square the 2x, so we would have 2x squared plus 2 times 2x times 3y, or I'll put negative 3y, plus negative 3y quantity squared. But this is, and then we simplify everything, we're going to have this expression squared, but we want to go to the fifth power. Well, to go to the fifth power, we're going to do something called using Pascal's triangle. Now, Blaise Pascal was a 1600s philosopher and mathematician who brought forth this piece of ancient learning from China, which he relabeled as Pascal's triangle. And so if you start out with a triangle of ones and then you work the triangle below, the next row is going to be 1, 2, 1, and this 1 plus 1 add up to be 2. And then for the next row we go to 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 1. And the number of the row we get by taking this number here, 1, 2, 3. So the next row is going to be 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And then we have our next row is going to be 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. And so looking at this second value in the row is 5. This row is going to be representative of a fifth power expansion. So let's go ahead and write out what we have here. Now, what we're going to have, if we had, for instance, quantity a plus b to the fifth power, we would expand this by writing this out as some coefficient a to the fifth power, and then we would have b to the 0 power, and then we'd have plus some coefficient a to the fourth power times b to the first power plus some coefficient a to the third b squared. Now I hope you can see what's happening here as I continue to write out here. We have a squared b to the third plus some coefficient a to the first power, b to the fourth power, and finally plus some coefficient a to the 0 power, b to the fifth power. Now what you'll notice here is the powers of a are going down from one term to the next, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And simultaneously the powers of b are increasing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so what we're going to do is we have to look at, in this case, a is going to be equal to 2x, and b is going to be equal to negative 3y. Now I put negative 3y in parentheses for what you will soon see. And now we can just continue to work here. And so we're going to have some coefficient. We will have, I'm just going to leave this blank here, and we're going to replace this a here to the fifth with 2x and make that to the fifth, and then we'll have b, which is negative 3x or 3y to the 0 power plus some coefficient. We'll have 2x replacing the a to the 4th power, and we'll have negative 3y to the 1st power plus some coefficient. We will have 2x to the 3rd power, and we will have negative 3y squared plus some coefficient. We will have 2x squared times negative 3y cubed. I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to work below here, plus some coefficient. We'll have 2x to the 1st power times negative 3y to the 4th power, and finally we'll have plus some coefficient times 2x to the 0 power, and we'll have negative 3y to the 5th power. Now we go to our Pascal's triangle, and we have our 5th row here, and we know it's the 5th because of this 5 that I've circled, and we're going to put the coefficients in place here, then simplify. So we just write in 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. And now we're just going to simplify out, and we will have our answer. And we're going to do this in 2 stages because it's going to be it'll take some simplifying. So first of all, our first term here, we're going to have 2 to the 5th power. And what's 2 to the 5th power? Well, 2 cubed is 8. 2 to the 4th power is 16. So 2 to the 5th power is going to be 32. So we're going to have 32 x to the 5th power, and negative 3y to the 0 power, or anything to the 0 power, is 1. So this is going to be our simplified first term, plus 5 times 2 to the 4th power. Well, 2 to the 4th power is 16, and we're going to it's going to be x to the 4th power, and then we're going to have times negative 3 times y. Okay, the next term we're going to have is plus 10, and we're going to have 2 times 2 cubed, which is 8, and we're going to have x cubed, and we're going to have negative 3 squared, which is going to be 9, so we're going to have 9 y squared, and now working below here we're going to have plus 10 times 2 squared, which is 4, x squared, and then we're going to have negative 3 to the 3rd power, y to the 3rd power, and now we're going to have plus 5 times 2, because that's the 1st power, x, and then we're going to have negative 3 to the 4th power, y to the 4th power, and finally we're going to have plus 1, well, 2x to the 0 power, that's 1, so we're going to have is negative 3 to the 5th power, y to the 5th power. Now, so now we're going to simplify everything here, and the numbers might get kind of big, so for these things a calculator could be helpful, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this without a calculator, but we're going to go and make a final simplification here. So we're going to hit here is our first term is going to be negative 32 x squared, and then 5 times 16 is going to be 80, and 80 times negative 3 is going to be negative 240, so I'm going to have negative be, have to write that as x to the fifth power. Okay, there we go, it looks better. Okay, minus 240, and we're going to have x to the fourth power y. Okay, next one we're going to have is this one here. We're going to have 10 times 8, which is 80, and 80 times 9 is, if I'm not mistaken, 720. So I'm going to put plus 720. We'll have x cubed, y squared. Okay, next one we're going to go to is right here. We're going to have a 10. Yeah, here we go. 10 times 4, which is going to be 40, times negative 3 to the third power. Okay, negative 3 to the third power, that's going to be negative 27. So negative 27 times 40, I'm going to go to my calculator for this one, sorry. Okay, negative 27 times 40, we're going to get negative 1080. So we're going to have right here minus 1080 x squared y cubed, and then we're going to have, the next one we're going to have is negative, we're going to have 5 times 2, which is 10, times negative 3 to the fourth power. Well, negative 3 to the fourth power is going to be, that's going to be 81. So I have 81 times 10, which is 810. So I put plus 810 x y to the fourth power. And finally, we're going to have this last term, negative 3 to the fifth power. Well, 3 to the fourth power is 81, and 81 times 3 is 243. So we're going to have minus 243 y to the fifth power. And we don't have any x term because 2x to the 0 power is just 1. So this is going to be our answer, our final answer, and I know this is quite a bit more complicated than another one I did recently, but I hope this has been helpful in explaining how this whole binomial expansion using Pascal's triangle works, and complicating with terms other than a simple a or simple x and a y. Again, I hope this has been helpful to you. Good luck, and thanks for viewing.